Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So, you already know the internet is a literal battleground for attention, right? Well, today we're moving way past the basic beginner tips. We are completely demystifying the ultimate structural blueprint for digital dominance. No fluff, no confusing jargon, just the absolute core mechanics of how you can ensure your work commands visibility online. But first, let me ask you to be honest about your own browsing habits for a second. Have you ever actually clicked on page 2 of a search result? Seriously, think about it. When you're searching for, say, an interior designer or a local service or some specific software, do you ever venture beyond that very first page? Most of us rarely, if ever, scroll to the bottom and hit next. Honestly, it's effectively a digital wasteland down there. And the data backs up exactly what we all intuitively know with a pretty staggering number: 75%. That is the percentage of users who never ever scroll to page 2. To put that into perspective, if your website is ranking in the 11th or 12th position, to 3/4 of the internet, your business simply does not exist. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it establishes the absolute critical need for search visibility. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'll just pay for ads and jump straight to the top. But get this, the data shows that 70 to 80% of users actively ignore sponsored ads. People just naturally gravitate toward the organic results right below the ads. Why? Because they actually trust that the search engine has vetted the quality of those links. And that right there proves why organic ranking is the ultimate long-term goal. Okay, let's dive right into our structural blueprint for today. We're going to cover the power of SEO, inside the search engine, the 3 pillars of SEO, the rules of ranking, and finally, measuring success. Starting things off with Section 1, the power of SEO and why ranking actually matters. At its core, search engine optimization isn't just a switch you flip. It is the ongoing strategic process of optimizing your own web pages to capture high-value business keywords. And it's important to clarify, we are optimizing our own website here, not Google itself. Think of it kind of like raising a child. You don't just teach a kid to walk for one day and say, okay, my job here is done. You teach them ABCs, then sentences, then complex problem solving. It takes time and consistent adaptive effort. Even if you hit rank 1, the process literally never stops because your competitors are always trying to optimize you out of that top spot. Now, we all use Google as a verb, but understanding the wider ecosystem is definitely key. Google absolutely dominates. We're talking a massive 90 to 95% market share globally. However, if you optimize your site fundamentally well, it often automatically captures rank on other unique search engines too. You've got Yandex commanding a huge share in Russia, DuckDuckGo boasting a 100% focus on privacy, Baidu acting as the absolute powerhouse in China, and Ecosia, which is super cool. It's an engine that dedicates its ad revenue to ocean cleaning and charity. Moving right along to Section 2, inside the search engine. Let's look at the library analogy. So let's break down how this algorithm actually builds out its database under the hood. Imagine a massive, endless library. Step 1 is crawling. You send a worker out to gather every single new book, magazine, and article they can possibly find on the internet, and they just toss them into a giant, unsorted pile. Step 2 is indexing. A second worker takes that massive pile and carefully categorizes the books onto specific shelves. Step 3 is ranking. When a customer walks in and asks for a book on, let's say, baking, the third worker, who represents the complex algorithm, pulls the absolute best, most relevant recommendations from that specific shelf. And where do all those final library recommendations actually live? On the SERP, the search engine results page. As a digital builder, you know the SERP has evolved dramatically over the years. It's definitely no longer just a simple list of 10 blue text links. Depending on your exact query, it's this rich, dynamic page packed with shopping carousels, local map packs, knowledge graphs, and frequently asked questions. It's designed to give users direct answers instantly. All right, Section 3, the 3 pillars of SEO. It is time to build your digital house. The best way to visualize your strategy is by contrasting on-page versus off-page SEO. If your website is your digital house, on-page SEO is everything happening inside. It's tightening of your content, optimizing the architecture, making sure the user experience is totally flawless. It's the stuff entirely within your control. Off-page SEO, on the other hand, is what happens outside the house. It's like handing out flyers to the neighborhood, earning recommendations or backlinks from other highly reputable websites, and building your authority across social media. But wait, beneath that entire structure lies a hidden, absolutely crucial foundation: technical SEO. This is what ensures that the search engine's crawlers can actually read and index your site's source code seamlessly. If this technical foundation is broken or unoptimized, the search engine literally cannot see your digital house, which means all your beautiful interior content and external authority building, yeah, they're completely useless. Which brings us to section 4, the rules of ranking. Let's talk about hats and factors. Now, what's really interesting about the SEO industry is how tactics are categorized by hats. White hat SEO means you are playing completely by the rules. You're following search engine guidelines naturally, focusing strictly on high-quality content and great user experiences. Black hat SEO is the exact opposite. It's attempting to cheat the algorithm using short-term spam tactics, like invisible keyword stuffing or buying fake links. And while Black Hat might offer a brief, temporary spike in traffic, it almost always guarantees your site is going to get blacklisted and completely removed from search. And then we have Gray Hat SEO. Impartially speaking, many highly competitive industries utilize gray hat techniques today to get a slight edge. It's a combination strategy. It relies on a very strong white hat foundation, but carefully deploys minor optimization pushes to gain an advantage in tight markets. The golden rule here, though, is that gray hat must be executed strictly without ever compromising the human user's experience. Regardless of the strategy you choose, search engines evaluate hundreds of ranking factors. But when we isolate the most critical ones, the pattern is pretty clear. There is a massive demand for high-quality human content. Low-effort AI-spun spam is heavily penalized right now. Next, core web vitals. Your page loading speed must be lightning fast. Then there's EEAT. That stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust, which is deeply scrutinized, especially for any site handling health or finance. Finally, mobile optimization and a secure SSL network are absolute, non-negotiable foundations for your site. And that leads us perfectly into section 5, measuring your success and the key metrics you need to track. So the crucial point is that tracking the right metrics starts with your click-through rate, or CTR. For a knowledgeable digital builder, a high CTR isn't just some vanity metric calculating clicks versus impressions. It definitively proves that your title and your meta description perfectly matched the user's hidden search intent on that results page. But hey, the journey definitely doesn't end at the click. You've got to look at dwell time. This measures the total amount of time a user spends actively consuming content on your website before they hit the back button and return to the search engine. High dwell time sends a massive positive signal to the ranking algorithm. It proves your content actually solved the user's problem, instead of just tricking them into clicking a flashy headline. Conversely, a high bounce rate is an incredibly dangerous ranking signal. If a user lands on your recipe page, finds the formatting super frustrating, and bounces back to Google in 3 seconds, the search engine logs that failure. To fix this, you have to offer immediate, relevant, clickable options, like putting an internal link to an eggless version of a cake recipe right at the top of the page, so they stay actively engaged in your ecosystem. This brilliantly illustrates how we track user flow by analyzing the landing page versus the exit page. A landing page is your targeted entry point, usually built specifically to drive a conversion. The exit page is the final page a user visits right before abandoning your website entirely. By mapping this flow out, you can identify your most common exit pages, and those pages reveal exactly where your digital house has a leak, allowing you to patch it right up with better internal linking or stronger content. So, what does this all mean? Your website is your digital home, but a home is only valuable if the right people can actually find its front door. Mastering these SEO mechanics is the difference between building a thriving digital authority and getting completely lost in the void of page 2. So, are you ready to optimize your digital presence? Keep learning, keep optimizing, and we will see you in the next explainer.